All right, let's talk about a huge health illusion, one that might be fooling you as we speak. The idea that the number you see on the scale is the final word on your health. We're going to dig into why that number might just be telling you a very convenient but very dangerous lie. So let me just ask you this straight up. When you step on the scale and see a normal weight, does that mean you're totally in the clear, health-wise? It's a question we all kind of assume we know the answer to, but, well, it's a lot more complicated than you'd think. And this leads us right into what I call the skinny fat trap. Now, in the medical world, they've got a fancier name for it, TOFI, which is short for thin on the outside, fat on the inside. And that's the core idea we are unpacking today. So first up, let's pull back the curtain on the great weight lie. This is for anyone who's ever felt that deep frustration when the scale says you're doing great, but your body, and maybe your gut feeling, is telling a completely different story. I mean, does this sound familiar? You've put in the work, you've hit that goal weight, you can even squeeze into those smaller jeans. But when you look in the mirror, you still look kinda soft. And even worse, you get that call from your doctor. Your blood tests, they're showing high cholesterol, or maybe you're pre-diabetic. Your metabolic age is somehow way older than your actual age. It's this super confusing, maddening reality for so many people. So if the scale is lying to us, then what's the real story? Well, it is time to meet the real villain here, because the whole point isn't about how much you weigh, it's about what that weight is actually made of. And this slide just perfectly blows up the whole idea of the body mass index, or BMI. Look at this. You've got two people, same height, same weight. One's a lean athlete with 12% body fat, the other's an office worker sitting at 30%. Their BMI? Exactly the same. Their actual health? They're on different planets. This is why just relying on BMI is such a huge mistake. The official medical term for this whole skinny fat thing is sarcopenic obesity. Sarcopenia just means you're losing muscle, and obesity means you have too much fat. Just think about that for a second. You are literally losing your body's engine, the muscle that burns calories, and you're replacing it with what's basically metabolic garbage. And that brings us to the most dangerous character in this whole story, visceral fat. This is not the fat you can pinch on your belly. No, this is the sneaky, hidden fat that's wrapped around your most important organs, your liver, your heart, your kidneys. This stuff is the true enemy of your long-term health. And this breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got subcutaneous fat. That's the jiggle, the stuff right under your skin. Yeah, it can be annoying, but for the most part, it's harmless. But visceral fat? That's the villain. It's not just sitting there. It's biologically active. Think of it like a toxic neighbor, constantly pumping out inflammatory junk that leads to insulin resistance, diabetes, and heart disease. Okay, now for a topic that might ruffle some feathers, the chronic cardio mistake. This is a massive piece of the puzzle because it explains how one of the most popular fitness strategies out there might actually be making you more skinny fat, not less. And to really get why, I want you to use an analogy with me. Just picture this. Your metabolism is a campfire. That's how your body creates and uses energy. Now think about how you fuel that fire. Doing endless cardio? That's like throwing a handful of dry leaves on it. Sure, you get this big, bright flare-up, but it's gone in an instant. But muscle? Muscle is like a dense, hard wood log. It burns slow, it burns hot, and it keeps that metabolic fire roaring for hours and hours, even when you're just sitting around. So what do you think happens when you do a ton of cardio, but you're not lifting weights or eating enough protein? Well, your body freaks out and goes into survival mode. It sees muscle as this metabolically expensive tissue, and it literally says, okay, let's burn this muscle for quick energy and hoard the fat just in case there's a real emergency later. And here's the result, the real kicker. You might lose 5 pounds on the scale after a month of pounding the pavement, but what you don't see is that you lost 4 pounds of precious muscle and maybe only 1 pound of fat. You've just become a smaller, softer version of yourself with a metabolism that's actually slower than when you started. All right, enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. This is where we get to the good stuff, the protein-powered solution. This really is the secret sauce for fighting back and actually rebuilding your metabolism from the ground up. It all starts with understanding something called the protein leverage hypothesis. It's a simple idea. Your body has a protein thermostat. It doesn't really care about calories as much as you think. What it really craves is getting enough protein. It will keep sending you hunger signals, driving you to eat more and more until that daily protein need is finally met. So what's the magic number? Well, the clearest target to aim for is about zero point 0.8 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. Seriously, hitting this number is probably the single most powerful thing you can do to shut down those random hunger signals and give your body what it's actually asking for. I mean, just think of it like this. Protein provides the bricks. You can't build a house without bricks, right? Well, your body can't build or repair muscle, those hardwood logs for your metabolic campfire, without a constant supply of these essential building blocks. Okay, so how do we put all of this together into a real plan? Our last section here is a super clear, actionable roadmap to take you from soft to solid and finally break that skinny fat cycle for good. Here are the 3 steps. It's that simple. Number 1, resistance training. Your new goal is not burning calories, it's building tissue. You gotta lift heavy things, at least 3 times a week. Number 2, the reverse diet. If you've been starving yourself, you need to slowly add calories back in, especially from protein, to get that metabolic campfire raging again. And 3, get a handle on your sleep and stress. Cortisol is the ultimate skinny fat hormone. And sleep? Well, sleep is the VIP lounge where all the real repair and muscle building happens. So, let's boil this all down. If you walk away with anything, make it these 4 points. First, BMI is basically junk science. Focus on your body composition instead. Second, doing cardio alone can actually make the skinny fat problem worse. Third, protein and resistance training, that's the 1-2 punch that will fix your metabolism. And finally, you have to remember, health is a marathon of being consistent, not a sprint of starving yourself. Which really leaves us with one final question for you to chew on as you go about your week. When you go to the gym, are your efforts actually building strong, healthy tissue that's going to serve you for the rest of your life? Or are you just burning time on a treadmill, running in place and going absolutely nowhere? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.